One of the world's greatest ever scientists, Albert Einstein, spent the last few years of his life here in Princeton, New Jersey. Now, educators across the whole of the US are looking at what broadband and wireless can bring to the education system, and not only at universities. We saw a terrific example of ICT in action at a high school across the state in New Milford.
Our society is a global connected society, and students here are competing with students in other countries, whether it's Europe or Asia. And ICT technology really brings us all together. It's collaborative. We're able to share like we have never been able to before. There is resources, knowledge that is at our fingertips. And as a principal, I want to be able to teach my students how to easily access that information.
We had a term paper due a couple months ago where our teacher required us to have at least three online sources.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, where it's like a set number of books and a set number of websites, and usually the amount of websites or like online encyclopedias or something like that usually outweighs the number of books that you need.
Catherine and I actually have a teacher that won't give us homework day to day, but he'll give us a big chapter assignment. And the history book sometimes isn't clear on certain points we have to identify, so we'll go on the internet to look them up.
Sometimes you get confused of how you're going to go about writing your essay, and then some sites will help you break it down.
Yeah, and then sometimes you'll find like a website with more general knowledge, but then you can just look up the more specific aspects to it based on the general things that you picked up from certain sites.
What we've done here in New Milford is we've really started to loosen up on our restrictions. And the challenge for us as educators is to find out ways that we can properly integrate it into the classroom. You still need a sound pedagogical foundation. A teacher still has to be able to teach the content, but then the teacher has to be able to develop innovative ways to integrate the technology where they're still meeting the learning objectives of the lesson. And they can still, the technology is just a tool, but it's a powerful tool, and then it engages the student and they get interested more in the content, and then they develop deeper understandings of it because they're using these mediums that they use the second they get out of the building. It would be silly for us to assume that every student is connected outside the walls of New Milford High School. It's not a realistic assumption in any school in the United States. So what we do is try to provide enough opportunities inside the building where they can have access. We have a wireless network here at the building. It's about 3 years old, and we're really changing the way in which we instruct our students in terms of getting them into the cloud per se, and we're moving towards more of a Google approach, where students can utilize Google Docs here and they can access it from the town library, from a friend's computer, no matter what time of the day.
I'm paranoid about Google Docs, like someone's going to find it and just type something in there that I won't notice, and I'll print it out and hand it in.
I use Google Docs. I first started using it just because I didn't have PowerPoint on one of my computers and I needed it for a project, and it was really helpful. And it's really easy because it's in your email, so you can open it up at school, work on it, and it's saved. It's really convenient.
My class, my language arts class, actually was like this. Our project was like a blog every week, like this blogging site, and I think it was like blogger.com, and we would post poems and just creative writing stuff.
Social media, social networking for me, the last year and a half I've dabbled in it, and it's really broadened my horizons as an educator. I've learned more in the past year from my interactions with colleagues across the world through a medium like Twitter than I have from any traditional professional development offering ever. And, I used to be from the school of thought where ban. I was one, partly responsible for banning YouTube and Facebook here. And my own students have actually educated me. And they're the ones that, after 6 years, convinced me to create a Facebook page for the high school in order to disseminate information to them. I now joined Facebook after 6 years.
I'd say a good 95% of the school has a Facebook, though. 95%
Yeah,
of the
95,
students.
97.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of the teachers do too, but they don't like to add students.
We try. It doesn't work.
There's a blackout,
oh my god, what to do?
We had a blackout recently that lasted about 3 days.
Last month there was this horrible storm that took trees down everywhere, and with the trees went power lines, so half the town didn't have power for days. So we were not only cut off from the internet, but some of our phones died and we couldn't charge them.
When we got wireless back, one of the first things I did was check my Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's really sad, but it's true.
A lot of these things that we're talking about, Skype, VoiceThread, Wordle, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they're free. So as long as you get the access and keep it up, you don't need to be spending lots of money on programs such as Microsoft and all these other different programs, because these Web 2.0 apps, all you really need is to be able to get onto the wireless network and then use these free programs, and you're using the cyberspace. You're not using your hard drive space. We're still not there yet in terms of definitive research that says whether or not ICT, social media, social networking actually increases student achievement. I do feel unequivocally that it engages the learner in the process, and it holds their attention, and that they actually learn more in terms of getting them to learn and getting them to be excited about coming to school and excited to learn about contents such as quadratic equations and photosynthesis. To get them engaged in that process is half the battle. And I think ICT is a means that, if we assimilate it into the way that we instruct our students, it can only help. It can't hurt.
This is Guy Daniels for the Connected States of America documentary in New Jersey.